Hello and welcome to the Writecome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from Writecome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Stop Looking in the Gym Window. Now, I want you to imagine this scene. We have a large wooden bench that's just placed outside a gym window. And when you sit on the bench and look in the window, you can see people facing you that are running on treadmills. You have people who are lifting weights. And in the back, if you just squint, you can see people doing their aerobics lessons. Now, you are sitting on this bench and you have your Big Mac meal. So you have a big burger in your hand and you have your large paper cup full of Coke. And you're slurping away on the Coke and chewing down on your burger. And you are watching everybody on the other side of the glass exercising. Now, the reason you show up every day to sit and look in through the gym window is because you want to lose weight, and you feel that if you sit long enough, looking in that window, it's going to help your health in some way. It's going to help you shed those pounds. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. How ridiculous of a scenario is that? Can you imagine somebody would actually do that every day, sit in front of a gym and expect to lose weight? And yet, if you go anywhere online, you are going to find people like that all the time. You are going to find people who are in Facebook groups right now. You're going to have maybe people who are going into writing groups that are going to spend all day discussing that book by Stephen King on writing and how terrific it was. They are going to discuss the best opening chapter to a particular book. What is the best way to write dialogue? What's the best way to create your characters? And they will discuss all that from night to noon and not actually take action on it. And then you'll have people who will go over to Amazon today. They will buy a book on writing or on podcasting or on how to create a YouTube channel, and that will lie on their Kindle. They may read a few pages of it, but because they have paid for that book, the $9.99 or whatever they paid for that book, because they have paid over that money to buy that book, they feel that they have moved their business on in some way. If somebody came in the door and they said, well, how's things going? How's your writing going? Or how's the YouTube channel? You can say, oh, I just bought a big book there on YouTube the other day. I just have to get stuck into it. Or I just bought a book on writing. I'm halfway through it, but I just haven't finished it yet. And, when they ask you, about your own particular book or your own YouTube channel, you've nothing to show for it. You haven't even started yet because you are just filling your head with content, and you feel in some way that you are like that gym person sitting outside the window, that if you look at it long enough, for some way it's going to magically just make your book write itself, or it's going to make your YouTube channel just suddenly appear, or it's going to make your podcast episodes suddenly record themselves. And unfortunately, a lot of people are deluded in that way. And, when I look back on my own kind of early life on the internet, I was like that too. I used to be someone who used to buy all the reports on how to create products, how to write PDFs, how to build landing pages, how to build websites. And I did it for so long that I actually found that I actually come back on myself in that, after a couple of years, I would buy a report and I would find that I knew the content already. I could actually create a better report than the one I bought. And that was a big wake-up call for me in that I realized, well, something, I could write a better report than that. If this person is making money from this report, why the hell can't I be making even more money from my report when I know I can deliver a better product than the one I've just bought? And that was a big wake-up call for me. And I think from that moment on, I start realizing, well then, if I am going to make money, I am going to have to create content. I'm going to have to stop consuming it, or cut down on how much I'm consuming it, or maybe just turn up the ratio of action compared to consuming. So if I read read one book on a particular topic, I should spend maybe the next 3 hours actually putting that into practice. So if you are right now somebody who has been buying books for motivation and, being one of those people who sits outside the gym window, maybe this should be the day when you stop doing that, because you're not progressing your career any further. You're not writing any books by doing that. You're not recording any podcast episodes by doing that. When I was talking to somebody who I know has a huge membership, when I was actually talking to one of his team members, they actually explained to me that, even though people pay their memberships every month, there's only a small fraction of people who will actually take action on the content that he is producing. It's only a few people that will show up to his challenges, only a few people who will get get in touch with him. The only few people who, show up daily to his motivational calls and who look for help. Everybody else pays the $97 or whatever it is a month, but they don't actually take action on it. And in some way, they feel because they are given that $97 over every month, it means that they are moving the needle in the right way. Whereas they're not even moving the needle at all. It's still at zero. And in fact, the only needle that they're actually moving is a bank balance, and they're actually sending it in the wrong direction. But unfortunately, they are deluding themselves in some way that if they hand over that $97, it means that they are part of the gang, they are part of the people who are taking action, they are part of the people who are building businesses, even though they haven't moved an inch themselves. So if you are someone like that, maybe it's time maybe this podcast episode could be the wake-up call. I just want you to stop sitting outside the gym window, expecting that motivation is going to carry over to your side of the, your side of the street, and is actually going to start making you, create content for you. It's up to you to create the content yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I actually dropped out of coaching. I used to do coaching for a while, but it used to frustrate me in that I would give people homework to do. I would say, do this, do that, and do this, and then come back to me with whatever you've created. And then I would just wait, and I would wait, and I would wait. And it came to a point that I was actually feeling guilty taking, coaching membership fees from them because they weren't actually doing the work. And it was frustrating me because I was taking so much action myself. I was probably putting my personality on them, and I was thinking to myself, well, if I was in their situation, I would be writing that report, or I would be building that website, or I would be putting this this product together. And when they weren't doing it, that really, really frustrated me. And I think it was for a lot of those people they taught again they were paying me a membership fee, they were paying me a coaching fee, and because they were paying me that fee, it meant that their business was moving forward. But it wasn't. As I said, it was just they were still back at step one, still on zero on the needle, and the only thing that was emptying out was their bank balance because they were actually paying the monthly fees to me for the coaching. And it just came to a point I just felt guilty about taking money off them, and that's one of the main reasons why you probably can't hire me as a coach anymore, is because I just gave up from lack of action and lack of, I used to meet a lot of people who would just look in the gym window and wouldn't actually do the work. So that was one reason why I dropped out of coaching. But hopefully this podcast episode may, light something in you, or maybe just slap you around the face and wake you up to what you're doing right now. Are you consuming more content than you are creating? And if that is the case, maybe if you are just buying loads of content and not actually taking any action on it at all, how do you really expect your business to move forward? How do you expect the books to write themselves, the videos to record themselves, the podcast episodes to record themselves, or anything, just by sitting and just consuming? Because you're just like that person sitting outside the gym window expecting that it's all going to magically happen to you. So as always, if you'd like to reach out to me, but don't reach out for coaching because I don't do it anymore, but if you'd like to reach out to me, if you have any questions, thoughts, or anything like that, you can send an email to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. And if you notice any social media buttons nearby, if you would like to click on a few of those, if you know anybody who would be interested in listening to this podcast, I would really, really appreciate it if you could share them, or if you'd like to leave a review, whatever, certainly do that. And if you'd like to know what I do over on the Writecome site, if you want to go over to Writecome, that's WRITECOME.com. You'll find all the content all over the web. As always, thanks for sharing your time with me again today. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.